Hello, hello. It is the one and only 5D Transformations, and I'm back. Feeling glorious, feeling wonderful, feeling powerful. Uh, and that's what I want to talk about now. Okay. Um, I've talked about a lot of different things on this channel: success, the mind, narcissism, MBTI, a lot of different things. Uh, but now it's time to take it to the 5D. And the 5D is simple. The 5D represents the mind. Uh, it's that when you close your eyes, right? It's the void. It's black. And then when you imagine something, if I tell you imagine a red apple, what you essentially did is from that darkness in the mind, you've produced light and created something from that void. So you close your eyes, you create from that void. I can say, imagine a blue strawberry. Now there's a blue strawberry. Imagine a yellow apple, right? So this is what your mind has the ability to create. And what it's basically pointing to is understanding that those ideas in the mind are connected to the 3D, right? You know, so imagine the 3D is what we're seeing, what you can taste, touch, and feel, what we can see. But then when you close your eyes, you have the ability to imagine 3D images, but they're in your mind. So there's a gravity. Your mind is gravitation. It's able to hold light and produce ideas. Now you got to understand that ideas drive human behavior. We create things that humans use. We create systems that humans exist in. And so it's very important that you understand this because based on what you imagine, is where everything will build from. If you imagine whether that's a business you want to build, whether that's you have new health goals that you want to do, right? The fact that you imagined it is extremely powerful. The fact that you can't imagine is extremely powerful. But we're in a world that focuses so much on final results. Everybody wants to see the shiny objects to validate the ideas. But all the teachings, the spiritual teachings, the esoteric books, all these self-help books, I mean, they're pointing to the fact that if you can experience it in your mind, and if you can believe it to be before having, you're going to have it. So you start to see that, what's blocking so many people is that they don't think they're that person yet because they haven't manifested it physically. Some experience that they need in order to feel validated. When the truth of the matter is, it's always something new. When you get to the top of one mountain, you then can see everything around you, right? But you realize that there's so much more to conquer. Or sometimes you realize, and I've experienced this, where you get to the top of a mountain and you're like, man, that was it. This is it. So my thing is, don't allow yourself to get stuck in linear time because that's a trap. That's the rat race. That's everyone trying to chase validation and running around to feel worthy. Then you got to do it again and again and again. Instead, how about you step off of that, let everybody else run, and you realize, I mean, I'm already that, you know? And the problem is we want that external validation. You want people to confirm it or to affirm it. That person that you wanted to prove wrong, that girl or that guy that broke your heart in high school, everyone has something to prove. But what you'll end up realizing is that the biggest gift is you finding that approval and without needing them to give it to you. Think about the idea of confidence. Confidence is simply acting as if you already have it all, as if you already know what's going to happen. Confidence is about believing in yourself that XYZ is going to become XYZ. Any doubt that's experienced is what kills confidence. It's what kills your power. It's what kills your magnetism and gravity. You got to understand magnetism, gravity, and certainty come together. So if you are feeling uncertain about getting to a certain level, a lot of the time it's just because you're not understanding. You're too linear. You got to look at it, instead of looking at it linear, look at it like the flower of life, or you can look at it like past, present, future is all happening at the same time, you know? And when you understand that, you realize, and let's say you're going to be a millionaire in 20 years, and let's say you were poor 10 years ago. Throughout that timeline, you can pull from different places. Why do you have to be just where you are on that linear timeline? You can be poor. You could be a millionaire now, but remember how it was when you was poor and experience that and carry on that lack. So if that's the case, if you can go in the past and pull from the past, you can also pull from the future. You can imagine the person who you're going to be in 15 years and pull from that right now. And that's the game of life. The real power is in your ability to pull from your success now. If you try to wait until you get the success to feel successful, you're in essence, that's how losers think. A winner expects success, so they're going to carry themselves as if things are already successful. And that's what it's about. So all these different tools are here to assist you, right? But it really begins with the imagination, and you can get so creative with it. You got to get to the point where, you know, somebody asks you, yeah, where were you up to yesterday? He was like, no, I actually was hanging out with Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs was teaching me a bunch of information about Apple, or, I was just hanging out with, Elon Musk, and he was telling me new plans. Like, you have to begin to create the world that you want to be in. And what you're going to see is based on the law of correspondence, which is one of the universal laws. Things will correspond with that accordingly. So you have to begin to use your mind to put you in a different position in life. The law of correspondence basically states that everything's connected, and that, you will align with essentially the things that you think about. If you think of fruits or whatever, think about it. We do it every day. You wake up, you go, all right, what am I going to eat for breakfast? And and whatever corresponds with that. Oh, there's cereal in the cabinet, or there's eggs in the fridge, and you go from there. Then you say, what am I going to do now? How am I going? You're always planning your day. The problem is we just plan our days a week ahead. We keep it very basic. We plan things that are feasible. Now, imagine if you expand that a bit and begin to plan higher level experiences for yourself. The same thing's going to happen. You're going to correspond with them. So that's why I recommend my Pyramidion course on the Patreon, because it's totally designed for that, to get your mind on a higher level. That's why it's called Pyramidion. It's being at the top of the pyramid. It's that top piece at the top of the pyramid. And what you got to understand is, if the body of the pyramid is the physicality, the tip, that top part of the pyramid, that top triangle part, is the mental side. That's where the spiritual energy is being channeled. And I see the same thing in our crown chakra area. And this is the area where you're able to generate new ideas to figure out what you're going to bring down to this to life. What are you going to create in this real life? So, I wanted to touch on that. It's time for you to open up your imagination and begin to correspond with things that are incredible. And what you're going to begin to see is your life transform. And it happens slowly but surely, but it happens. And the more confident you are, the quicker things happen. And the more people who vibrate on the frequency you vibrate on is going to accelerate it as well. It's all about frequency, energy, and vibration. So that's my video today. I'm about to be dropping a lot of videos on you. You know what I mean? I've been really stacking up some information, so I'm excited to do that. And make sure to join the Patreon if you haven't already. Also, if you like coaching, you can email me at your5dtransformations@gmail.com. Aside from that, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.